There's a particular kind of pain that hits a man when he realizes that the people he loves the most might be afraid of him. The hardest part is this man is not a bad man. He's a good man who keeps reacting in ways that he regrets and doesn't fully understand why. I'm here with the one and only Alfonso Petty, who works with men, and it's very different from any other anger management conversations that you've heard of because he's not asking men to grip harder to push through or to conquer themselves, but rather from resting in something bigger than themselves. And there is no doubt that the deepest fulfillment in life, and I'll say this from my own personal experience, comes from the relationships that are closest to you. So, Alfonso, welcome to the Never Settle podcast. Super excited to have you on, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Richmond, for having me. I
All
appreciate it.
right,
Appreciate you.
yeah, well, let's do this because, culturally, this
Yeah,
is definitely, it's ne really never been anything spoken about, um, especially in the last couple of years with, the woke movement and stuff like that. It's even further talked about. So I
exactly.
think this is such a hot topic because um, wow, like I used to snap a lot. I used to that. I mean, I'm just talking from my personal reference, but I would say almost every man goes through this period in their lives, whether they
Yes.
go through it as a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, or as a father or as a grandfather. So can we talk about normalizing this whole issue first, and then let's talk about what you do differently because this is really cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think it's a normal issue. I was focusing more on guys like 40 to 60 years old, but I went to the pool shop to get my pool water checked today, and there was like a 20, 30 something there. And he asked me what I did, and I told him, I help these men stop becoming angry when they come home, and so they can become reconnected back at home. And then he just gave me his business card. He said, "I want to know more." He said, "I have a girlfriend," and basically he didn't tell me more, but what he was telling me is this. He also said this job is real stressful at times, and I have a girlfriend. And then I read between the lines, like, yeah, he's probably coming home and sometimes taking that out on his girlfriend, that
Yeah.
stress. So there's a gap there, and we want to close that gap between what we know is right and then how we actually are behaving right. So, and like you said, we're not bad people, we're not bad men, but we just get off track sometimes. So,
Very cool, very cool. And so, when men get angry, I find like particularly 46, it makes it worse because then they start feeling guilty for being angry, and then they get angrier for being guilty, and this and vicious loop. So talk us
there's
about
a
like
little
the
bit,
loop, yeah,
yeah,
and how to get out of it.
yeah. There's a kind of, well, even for myself, and I have one client who I'm serving now. We're going through the command, the Calm Command Reset, and we're going to be on day 4 this coming Sunday. But he revealed to me on day 3 that he's got an inner critic, that he had an inner critic loop, which led to loneliness, which leads to him acting out. And then he's like, "Oh," I said, "How long have you been having this loop?" And he said, "I've known it for a long time." So, and then I'm in my own life, I could see, and we talked about it with some other coach previously earlier. This loop exists in all people, right? And how do we break that loop? How do we get out of that? How can we, you know, reframe or change our minds and get out of that situation? Because our minds like to keep holding on to whatever's there, right? And just keep us in that loop.
Yeah, and talking about that actually, can you share with anyone watching this right now some signs of anger? Because I think the misconception is it's loud, it's aggressive,
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's that red kind of thing, but it can be internal too, right?
Yeah, and the first like step is to notice, like and to catch the pressure as it builds up. So where is it happening? Is it happening in your body? Okay, if this is it in your chest? Some people get lightheaded or dizzy. Some people just feel that in their neck, right? And then can they name it when it's happening, right? And then once they can do those two things, then it can slow down. And again, the client I'm serving, he just had an issue with his dad. They were just talking about the interior of cars, and they were having some differences of opinion about it. And then he noticed his dad was getting upset with him. And then and I know I've known him for a while, so I usually he would just explode in anger and just throw stuff. I've seen him do that in the park, just throw stuff. But this time he was able to catch himself and name it, and then he just lightly gripped the steering wheel and just hung on. So there was some progress there. So it's not that we have to become perfect, right? So he chose the next step. He could have just got angry again, but he chose a different path, and now he can lead from there, right? And that's what we're wanting to get the men to realize, that they don't have to stay in that loop and then keep getting angry, right? First, notice it in your body, then, slow down, take some breaths, and then make a small choice. You don't have to do it right away. If someone's asking you to call them back, you don't have to call them back right away. If someone asks you to say no to something, you don't have to do it now. Just take your time, and then when you're ready, take that next small step, and then you'll be able to show leadership from there. So,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
What if it's your mother-in-law? Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
anybody, man. I can get into those things. Yeah, exactly. It can be anybody close to you, and that's usually the closest people to us are the ones that we end up taking things out on, right? So, because there was one time when my wife, she's been recovering from a stroke, and then she's like, we just got these nice cabinets that we want to put in the kitchen, so they came in separate boxes, and there's a box in the garage, and she's like, can you move this now? I want to build it now. And I'm like, I'm tired. I was like, honey, I don't want to do that, right? I don't feel like doing that right now. So I just withdrew. That's what we usually do. Withdrew to my room. I come back later. I find her trying to move the box up the stairs herself. And then I'm like, what did I just do? What am I doing? You know? So right then a memory came to me. Oh, yeah, I needed to yield, right? Needed to yield back to God's love, which I've experienced before. And once that's there, then I will be more other centered and more selfless, right? I found myself being selfish at that time, even though I was tired. Even though my wife said, "Yeah, I shouldn't have maybe pushed you to do that," but from my perspective, you know, even though I asked her to wait, I could have just, you know, if I would have been yielding that time, things would have been different, I think. So,
Yeah,
y-
I actually want to
yeah,
expand on that. Just hold
yeah,
that thought actually, because there's probably some
sure,
misconceptions around yielding. There might be some
definitely,
misconceptions, right? Um,
yeah,
I want to chat about that, but before we do that, there might be some misconceptions even around feeling anger itself, or like shame. Like for example, in certain cultures, when I was growing up, getting angry was like, "Oh, you got angry," you know? Um, and
definitely,
and my parents and even my in-laws, like, when even my little kids now, oh, they got angry. It's like such a shameful thing to get angry. There's so much shame upon it. And so, can
yes,
you dispel some myths around shame associated with anger? Because if people want help, but they're feeling shame about even raising their hand for it, it makes it very
yeah.
hard.
Yeah, and I came also, my grandmother was Japanese, so she expected me to get straight A's.
Yeah,
And my dad's from African culture, they're like, hey, you can't speak back to us, especially you can't get angry. But then they'll say, answer me. I want you to tell me how you're feeling so they know what to do. But if they're feeling ashamed, they just need to realize that they're already enough, that they are loved. They need to they get to see that, right? And if once they get to that point, then things get easier for them.
wow,
Yeah,
that's a
they
big
can. Yeah,
sentence.
yes, they get easier.
Yeah,
They get something that they get more manageable, and then they can find work toward their purpose, right? Because that's what we all deep down have some purpose, but usually there's something blocking that, right? How can we get
yeah.
back to getting have some intent, having the courage again to try again without feeling shame from our family or from anyone else around us. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, talk
Yeah.
to us about yielding then, like some misconceptions around yielding. What does that actually
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. That's the opposite of conquering or pushing through it. And then I think another opposite word would be performance. Because usually, if we don't withdraw, then we'll like fake it till we make it or try to perform. Um, even we'll go and do, even if it's a seminar, webinar, we'll do the tidy challenge, but we're not really present, right? We're not because we're not really grounded and we're still drifting and we're just kind of going through the motions. But it looks good from the outside. People can't tell, but inside there's something that's not aligned. So yeah, that's what that looks like. Uh, so then yielding though will be leaning into first of all what's going on physically, because I believe God created us to be whole creatures, like spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, um, all a holistic unit, and science is showing that as well, right? So I can do some exercise, I can drink water, right? I can take deep breaths, I can put my mind on things that'll be beneficial and not harmful to me. And then I have the Christian men, especially, they have a relationship with God that they grew up with, where they actually gave their lives to God, and that's a daily thing that God enables us to do, and He enables us to trust Him and to love Him, and once we let Him in, then His character is in us and it shines through. So on top of all of the physical things and mental things, emotional things we can do, that spiritual component also just multiplies everything, your relationships horizontally and vertically with God and with each other. So, and that's what's great about getting grounded again in God's love, and then also yielding to what your body's telling you, right? And then just taking that pause and getting grounded again.
So good. So what would you say to men who think yielding is being weak or a version of that?
Yeah. I'd say give it a try. It's like people, in the past probably thought vegetarians, if you just don't eat vegetables, you're weak. But we see that that's not the case, right?
Are you a vegetarian?
No, I was for 3 like a lacto, but no, I
Yeah, me
eat
too.
vegetables. Yeah. Let's go have some Korean barbecue together.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorites.
yeah,
My wife is Korean, so I love Korean barbecue.
yeah, yeah. We should,
Yeah.
we should. But yeah, so
Yeah.
so to your point, so
Yeah.
like yielding is not being weak.
No, it's not. It's not. Some people may say surrender, but I think yielding is even, it's just leaning in already to what you know is is true, right? Um, and kind of like Tony Robbins, or even it's a state where that state where you're fully connected, it's like a flow state. So what happens when you lead into God, then His love and everything else flows through in you and through you. So you become more like Christ-like, and then also and then He's helping, enabling you to do whatever things you need to do in your relationships, in your health, in your wealth. So, um, yeah, that's what it looks like. And I believe we were created to already be yielded to God, and then, creation. The way things are, if we look at our world, they weren't supposed to be like that. They are now, where animals are against each other, people against each other. Um, so, what a yielded society looks like, um, and even like with Tony's colors of influence, I think that's the fulfillment of finally everybody coming together and being able to love each other, live together, and but it starts just daily, and small action at a time, just building like that. So there's always continual growth. It's never ending, and then the connection is on. You're constantly in that state of growth, state of flow, and the state of mind. So that's what true yielding, and that's strength. I think that's anything opposite of that is again performance and just me trying to grit my teeth, grind it through. And I know you work out, Richmond. So when you're finally doing those last sets for your legs, grinding through, your body's telling you, "Hey, man, you need to stop. You've already done enough for today." So you come back, and let your legs recover and rest, and then if you do that, you can do even more right the next day, or the next time when if you're doing them every other day, the next time you're going to do them, instead of just pushing through and then getting injured or just fatiguing them so much that yeah, now you can't do anything after you've worked out. So yeah, that's the difference. That's the difference that I see, and that's what real yielding looks like.
So good. Okay. Because I want to talk about your tiny challenge in a second as well. What
Yeah,
for a man watching this, or even it might be a spouse watching this, and she's like, I resonate with that. My man is like that. He's such a good man, but he just,
yeah,
you know, he's got this anger thing. Um,
sure.
what's what's kind of, you mentioned about first step is just recognizing it and labeling it. Um,
Yes.
what's might be like next step in terms of asking for help or raising your hand and saying, you know what, whether it's raising your hand to your spouse or raising your hand to your kids or raising your hand to God, like what's that kind of, how does a man cross that bridge to say, I think I need help with this?
I think when the man when he finally realizes that the wound is so deep that unless he does something about it, nothing's going to change. And I've already had some other men reach out to me, um, and they can see themselves in that wound, and they can see that but there's also a way in that I can walk with them, that their family members are ready to walk with them if they're ready to take the step, right? And choose, lovingly choose. I say lovingly choose, but just to choose, right? They don't have, and that doesn't look like, "Oh, I gotta do I have to do this," or no, we're here for you and we will support you. We're always here to support you. Maybe you can't see that now, but if you will see, look again, we're here to help you. So I think once a man sees that he has some help available, he will take it if he really wants
Mm,
to. If he really wants to come out of that whatever loop he's in, yeah. So
very cool. You know, as you're talking, I can't even imagine what old Alfonso was like because I wouldn't even think this guy right now, there's no way he ever had anger issues because you just are so the opposite to that, you know, even just your energy and the way you talk. So, can we talk about what old Alfonso was like, and then let's talk about your one-on-one tiny challenge to help men who maybe were in your
sure,
shoes or other clients' shoes, and how they can transform to your 5 days. So, yeah, what was old
definitely.
Alfonso?
Alfonso would thought he knew it all.
Yeah.
Alfonso, was didn't feel he was enough for his dad at times, um, and old Alfonso would just react on a drop of a hat if he didn't get his way. Yeah. So, uh, and that, like I said, changed when I went to a Christian retreat weekend and I saw that my sins put Jesus on the cross, and then I yielded to God, and after that. I begin to grow with God, pray and study the Bible, have Christian fellowship, and just see God work in different areas of my life through anybody inside the church and outside of the church up till now. And so I have, I believe God's real because I've experienced His love in my life. I've experienced the things that He's done to provide for me and my family all the way up to now. So, and I'm just grateful for that. And there's still like 10% of old Alfonso that tries to come back at times. But these things that I'm sharing that I've shared with you here, I also do on myself, and I yield to God myself to help me get back to a state where I can be of service and be the good Alfonso that you're seeing.
Yeah. And that 10% is okay too. I mean, I'm sure all of us have it because if my kids and
Yeah,
wife was threatened, oh my gosh, a side of me would probably come out that I didn't know I had, you know what I'm saying? So, um,
definitely, definitely,
yeah, the
definitely.
protector
You want to
side.
defend it, protect your
Um,
side for sure.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
your one-on-one tiny challenge. This is 5 days with you, not AI, one-on-one with you. From my understanding, there's
exactly.
no charge to this. However, they do have to
Yeah.
pay with their time and attention, but you can only allocate a few spots a month. Talk to us more about what is it? What does it do? What does it mean for them?
Yeah. Again, it's 5 day one-on-one challenge with me. It's free. And you'll go through these steps with the notice. You notice the issue. We catch it building up before it spreads. You're going to name it. You separate who you are from what you're feeling at the moment. And you slow down. You let your body settle before you make the decision. And then we go through the choosing and the leading as well. Uh, and then we see if after as we're working together, um, if you're seeing some changes, which I believe that we'll see some changes in progress if you want to continue that momentum. I'm working into my 90-day offer, but yeah, that's what it looks like. And then I believe that they're going to be experiencing their calm, that groundedness that they um, already have experienced in the past, but now they haven't been experiencing it consistently in their lives.
Yeah, super cool, man. And no one right now is offering something like this. This is a 5 day one-on-one challenge with Afonso. I've never seen anything online like this. I mean, there's other things around online you can do anger management, but to have like this customized service and also his unique process of getting through this, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So if you're seeing this or you have a friend that needs to see this, please share it with them. Since we've got the words calm and clear on your banner there, let's type in the comment section calm or clear. And then Alfonso will get back to you on how you can get details to join his 5 day tiny challenge. Is there a name for this tiny challenge that you're doing?
Yeah, it's the Calm Command Reset
Calm
Challenge.
Command Reset. So good.
Yeah.
And but if you want to send him a private DM because this is so new to you and you're like, I kind of want to do this privately on my own, and that's okay too. And you want to raise your hand in private, send him a private DM. You'll have his profile if you're watching this video here. And private DM and calm or clear, or just let him know you saw this podcast, and then he'll get back to you on how you can be one of those lucky people. He only allocates a couple of spots a month for this, and this could be your sign to changing your life forever. So, Alfonso, appreciate you for being on the podcast.
I appreciate you so much, Richmond. Thank you very much.